mi mi o mi o meo na mi o que All right. Hello, everyone. What's going on? Sorry for the delay, but we had literally every single person has had technical difficulties. There are four of us, four professors. We are launching. Welcome to the launch of PROFS Play. I know what we're talking about, right? PROFS Play, which I will shout out if y'all are interested. I am hanging out with a few professor friends, and we are starting this collaboration where we are playing different games. We're starting with Animal Crossing because I'm familiar with it. A couple people are familiar with it, and we also have a noob professor who doesn't know anything about it. As y'all know, As y'all know, I don't play all the games, so PROFS Play is a collaboration where we're going to be exploring lots of different games, so I would definitely recommend checking out the channel if you're interested in some goofy professors just thinking about life and games and all of that. So I'm gonna get us started by having people intro. So the cams are off because that was not working for us at all today, but as y'all know, I'm Prof Lynette. Most of y'all who follow me know that I have a PhD in math education, but I'm interested in other things. Lots to do with digital media, how it's connected with teaching and learning, training future teachers, all of that. So that's kind of my wide scope of what I do. So I'm going to pass it off to Earl. Why don't you introduce yourself?
What's going on, everybody? I am Earl, Prof A Plays here on Twitch. Also professor, actually just a couple of doors down from Prof Lynette, IRL. I got my PhD in learning literacies and technologies. I was a former high school English teacher and a lifelong gamer, mostly PlayStation, tabletop, role-playing, board games, but I'm pretty open to anything, and was kind of curious about what would happen if a couple of folks who were really into games and also really into thinking about how people learn all got together and played together. And so just kind of curious to see how this goes. Do I pass?
Yeah, sure. Jeff.
Pass to Kelly, go.
Oh, Kelly, go.
All right. So I actually was in the same PhD program as Earl. So I also have a PhD in learning literacies and technologies. And I actually am a professor of game design, an assistant professor of game design. So I do exclusively gaming stuff. And I have a more technical background before I was in the PhD program. I got my MA in digital arts and sciences, which is all kinds of different technical and gaming type goodness. So I'm kind of combining all of these different elements together. But I tend to kind of look at games in a designerly perspective and look at the ways that the designs of the games affect the ways that people play and engage with the games. And yeah, that's my spiel. Baton pass, Jeff.
Very nice. I eventually got it. I'm the last leg here. Hi everyone. My name is Jeff Holmes. I'm a fraud. I'm actually not a professor, so I'm lying about being on Professor's Play. I'm an instructor, which is like a professor, but I teach more at Arizona State University, where I also received my my PhD. And I am really interested in games, and I think the thing that really kind of appeals to me about, in particular this kind of group, is that we all talk about some of the same things, but all talk about them in different ways. And that's one of the things I'm interested in. So I've studied games around teaching and learning, and also, like Kelly was saying, a little bit about the design, and particularly about how things emerge from design. Sometimes you can intend things, like a game designer wants you to play it in a certain way. But when people get together and do stuff like stream like this, we impose new ways of playing, and we come up with new ideas, so that the way that you can design for that kind of emergent happening is fascinating. So I'm excited to see what we come up with here. I think Animal Crossing is a great place to start for that kind of stuff too. So I'm excited to work with everyone here on stream and in the chat.
Yeah, so Earl has never played Animal Crossing, is that correct, sir?
That is correct. I've also done zero research about Animal Crossing in prep for this stream. And so I think I only know it through the memes and that one article that Ian Bogos wrote. And that is about it, actually. I'm having even more technical difficulties trying to get this hosted. So I might just hop on your channel right quick.
All right, sounds good. So, for everyone who is friends with me in Animal Crossing, I am, my turnips are 219. My gates are open. I'm about to sell some turnips because we only have 20 minutes. So, if you want to sell your turnips, gather your stuff, you have 20 minutes before the prices shift. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the sub. Your team leader. Also, TexCav, of course, the bit leader. Thank you for those bits. And also Anya for the host. Someone is on their way.
I already have so many questions.
Go for it. The place, this is the place.
So many questions, but I will hold the questions.
All right. Wait for the opportune moment.
Yeah.
I will also admit I am a relative. I've been playing a little bit. I've got an island and I've made some progress and stuff, but I've never actually played Animal Crossing. So I'm just slightly of what's happening. I have not yet collected any turnips, but I do have lots of coconuts and oranges and stuff. So
Cool.
it's my jam these days.
Steve! Exclamation point is coming.
Yes. So yeah, so that one of the things we were talking about right before we started the stream was the idea of like how you know people across different platforms, right? So on Twitch, I'm J_plays_games. On like my email, my Twitter, I'm GameRedder for a long time. Here in Animal Crossing, I'm Steve. So like there's like 4 different ways you can address me. How do we do it? I have no idea. Weird.
Oh, there you are on the island.
I know. Come into the island. Wait, so Not So Trendy Brandy had a camper that was oh my gosh, I had a camper earlier this week and I forgot to talk to them. Had 10 villagers, the choice was random, and I didn't have anyone I wanted, so the camper was first from on my list. Oh, Jeff, so there's stuff on the ground in front for you.
Yeah. Oh, like a little
Well, the other 2 is for Kelly, but
oh, the mask. Gotcha.
Oh.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to get. I don't have the store yet. I apparently haven't unlocked the store. But that's a great idea.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask now. Can somebody give me a quick rundown of just the whole, like, what is Animal Crossing, man? Like, people have talked about it, and I know of Animal Crossing, but like, what is it? What do you do? How do you win Animal Crossing?
all right, that's for the chat as well. Whoever can come up with the best answer. What is Animal Crossing? How do you win?
What am I looking at?
What is? Kelly, I think you are probably well equipped to answer this.
Just do it!
Oh my gosh.
Your dreams come true!
I think this version is a little different than some of the other versions. So this is there was a GameCube version and a Wii version, but it's always kind of been a very chill, laid-back experience with no real explicit goals except to pay off your house, pay off your mortgage, and kind of just live your best Animal Crossing. But this game's interesting because people have been playing it in a way that's a lot more goal-oriented than the previous games, I think. So people are really, especially if you go on Reddit and look at what people are doing, people have been spending crafting these reels and trying to get every item in the game and going on the turnip market out in a bit and really trying to amass as much wealth as possible. So, still there is no goal per se. A system where island, different star ratings. So you could argue the goal of the game is to get those 5 stars, but there's not any kind of end state to the game. It's really kind of over whenever you're tired of it, essentially. Things that people kind of want, I think, this laid back experience. And to talk to adorable animals. That's kind of the main appeal of it.
Got it.
So
Yeah, and I see a couple of good responses in the chat too. I love Anya Ford's response. It's a life simulator and as you suggested, Kelly. Like life, you don't win.
Yeah, there's maybe a darker read on that.
team leader's got a good one too here. Move into a new town, island, build a home via paying off a debt. Now it's like really like decorating.
It's capitalism simulator. You know, my as an outsider, my experience with it is that kind of like how Earl and I have come to know Animal Crossing. It's really about kind of the social interactions around it. It's, you know, the game, you know, people love making their village or something. You know, they take a lot of pride in making clothing and laying out stuff, but it's about like sharing that with other people. And you know, like what we're doing here, you know, invite people to your island and come hang out and stuff. And maybe, you know, the idea behind it is less about kind of what you're doing and often more with like who you're doing it for or with. And like Minecraft, you know, you can make cool stuff and enjoy doing that. But often it's better when you like share it, invite people to your server, or put it on your, I don't know, Instagram or whatever, Twitch, you know, stream it on Twitch, something like that. It's the doing with or for others, maybe, that is the appeal. And certainly quarantine times are it just lined up perfectly, right?
I saw this tweet that was like, Animal Crossing right now is like that one summer with Pokemon Go, but the opposite. It's like, you know, the perfect game for when you can't actually see people at Animal Crossing hangouts. You know, people are doing like the Animal Crossing weddings. These sort of simulated social hangouts. I don't know. It's been keeping me sane. I know. I can attest.
Have you found that you've
sure.
Kelly or chat too? Have you been like more social or interactive in the game? Do you have more like visits with friends? You know, because one of the things that certainly in like my house and I think a lot of places elsewhere, you know, we're doing Zoom calls and like happy hours with friends, you know, or Zoom work meetings or something like that. You know, are you using Animal Crossing to do any of that kind of stuff?
I've been calling people on the phone. You know, it's like let's play together. But you know, we're really kind of having a general conversation. I've done a lot of hangouts with friends and family members and stuff in the game. Plus just the constant kind of like texting and you know, even like my neighbors here, people in my neighborhood, that some of them play Animal Crossing, so we did like a contactless amiibo card delivery, which we can talk about what amiibo cards are later. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
So some of y'all heard me raving about finding a dissertation about Pokemon Go. Kelly is the author of that dissertation. I'm just gonna shout that out right now.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out. I'm trying to publish the last article from it. I just got an acceptance on an abstract, so now I have to just get through it and actually publish this article. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, as much fun as a dissertation could be, right? But it was a good top choice for me.
Scott is here on the island now. Do you need a mask? You can have this mask on the ground if you want, Scott. It's all yours. This is the first time you've joined the island. We've been friends for forever.
Yeah, that's great.
Of slow life. That's cool.
I think certainly that's something I've discovered in my own play. I mean, it is a very kind of Japanese game, you know, infused with a lot of, you know, cultural things about Japanese life. You know, as a total aside, I don't know if you heard that or read that article about how Animal Crossing sounds different in the Japanese and the English versions. Because the way they do the words, apparently, it's that there's like a little computer reading each letter, or like a little voice synthesizer reading each letter of the word they're saying. And so it sounds like, you know, it's got this weird little sing-songy sound, but because they're reading Japanese characters versus English characters, the sound is different. So the English is much more like, you know, like it's very harsh, whereas the Japanese is much more sort of fluid because of the sound of the letters that make up the words. It was really fascinating. Anyway, the longer story is like how I, as an American, approach this game. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What do I want? What do I want? And it maybe isn't necessarily about that. It's about a different kind of way of seeing the world.
Got it. Natra, I'm so sorry I'm not on camera. I would show you my official Professor elbow patches on my jacket, but I do have them. Like Prof. Lynette, I also sort of present as very young as a professor, and so
Not
in
only
my
do you
teacher
present as
education
young, you are
classes-
young. We're all young.
All right, fine. I am young.
At least we don't have like full beards, gray hair, like that sort of image of what a professor.
Right, but it's it's interesting because in our Prof. Lynette and I do teacher education courses, and in a lot of, I'll just speak for myself, in a lot of my cases I have students in my class that like look like they're my age, that are like a lot older than me, and sometimes like I walk in and people are like, who is this, like why is this high schooler teaching a college class? And on the first day of class I like always have to make sure to bring my jacket with patches so I can show people the real professors.
That's great.
There's like a weird dynamic with that for me too. Trying to fix this problem we have, we're getting more female students in our game design program over time. But for instance, last semester, and this was kind of an anomaly, but among my game classes, I had one female student, like out of all the students.
Wow.
And that's again a bit of an anomaly, but not super atypical. So there's kind of like an interesting dynamic there too. And it's funny because our like many institutions, we have way more female students, and especially in our I'm in a department of communication, so it's mostly female students. So it's so funny. I have such a different experience.
I'm typing this, but because I already started it. But y'all can dig. This is a new part of my island. I can do an island tour if y'all want to see what's over here. So this is the first area. So if you come from the shop or the area to the right, yeah, this way past. This is Goose's fenced-in area. Scott, I think I just asked to be best friends with you so you can dig on the island. Jeff, do you have a shovel?
I do, yeah.
All right, so you can pick whatever one. You might get something cool. You might get something not as cool.
All right.
So you can only dig on things that look like that.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So Jeff just can't like.
Well, I mean, you can dig holes wherever, but there's stuff in there if there's like a little star like that.
Oh, got it.
This one is my call. And thank you. That's great.
Oh.
I think I saw a preview of this the last time.
Ooh.
What is it?
I
Brine shrimp aquarium.
Sweet.
The types of games I like to play. Again, I've talked about this idea of emergence, a lot of free-form stuff. Minecraft. I've sunk a lot of hours into. Earl and Kelly, you both know this. Rust consumes me for some reason. But I'm a loot hoarder. I just want loot. Loot. So I've approached this game in the totally wrong way. I've played Animal Crossing totally wrong, because I'm just like every day I log on and I gather all my stone and I gather all my sticks and my oranges, and then I just like hoard it and I never do anything. So maybe I need a new approach.
So there's like this.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like in my shop right now, there's this really cool and really expensive console back here.
Let me go find the shop.
An arcade combat game.
Oh.
Heck yeah.
64,000.
Can you actually play the game in the game? Is it that meta?
No, it's kind of like decoration.
I'm just curious.
I mean, although the TV like shows like a TV show.
Cool.
So in the GameCube version, Earl, you actually could play, there were like little NESs you could collect, and you could actually play the game in the game. So this is before there was like the virtual console and, all of those kind of, ways of selling you these old games. Like you could actually just play them in Animal Crossing. And I had a basement full of these NESs, and I just spent so much time in the game playing those, it was like how many hours of my playtime were just playing, Joust or something.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Sometimes the mini games are the games, man. That just reminds me of Blitzball from Final Fantasy X. Like as soon as I like got a good team together, that was the end of the campaign, man. It was just the rest of it was a Blitzball simulator. I think I did beat it eventually, but
Nothing wrong with that.
took a minute. I did want to ask the chat though, what all everybody else is playing these days. Out of curiosity. I mean, seems like there's a bunch of Animal Crossing fans, which is awesome. But just out of curiosity, any other? Yeah, what else are folks into these days? And also, voice people, Jeff and Kelly and Lynette, feel free to add.
Voice
Yeah,
people.
The voice in the
voice.
chat.
The voice.
Scott is buying the arcade game.
Sweet, that's cool.
I'm obviously playing Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Yeah.
A little bit of Pokemon Go, but mostly Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake the other night.
You finished it.
Yes, I did. It was excellent. I actually wasn't sure at first how I felt about it, but by the end I was like, yes, this is everything. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Have you played the original, and did you lionize it the way lots of people did?
Yes to playing and yes to lionizing it. It's probably one of the most formative games to me. I think it's why I'm so into JRPGs. So I'm actually replaying it now. The original, I got it for Switch. It was super cheap on Switch, so
Nice.
I'm replaying it to see, kind of how it holds up. And
Yeah.
it's holding up well so far. I'm only a few hours in.
Nice. Yeah, I share that same sentiment. It was formative. I played it because I'm older than the rest of you. I had a mini existential crisis this semester when I realized how much older than all my students I've now become. I'm 41 now, and I am getting gray and grizzled and stuff. And I played FF7 when it came out, and that was like, mind blowing at the time. And I played it again, I don't know, maybe like 10, and, so of course I hold it up, I know it's got lots of problems and whatever, but it's one of my absolute all-time favorite games. And I played it again maybe 10 years ago, and I thought, yeah, it does hold up. And so I'm curious how much that's changed even in those last 10 years and how that remake is. Because I played Knights of the Old Republic, a game I love as well, and another one of my formative kind of games. And that one it's a little hard to play these days. I mean, the story is still amazing and stuff, but after playing and loving Mass Effect and some of those other BioWare games and stuff, KOTOR
Oh
is
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of not to totally dominate this with Final Fantasy VII, but they made a lot of character changes to the characters. Like they make Cloud a lot more likable. The protagonist of the game, he's a lot more likable. Like going back and playing it, I'm like, he's such a jerk. Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Totally.
So he comes across, he's like a little more vulnerable. He's a little more likable straight off.
Nice.
So yeah, I like it. I like the changes that they made.
Nice. I'm sure I'll pick it up someday. But the thing that really makes me nervous is that the original was, I don't know, if you were really grinding and stuff, what was it, like 40, 50 hours, something like that to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's what, 5 chapters or volumes or whatever of the remake, and each of those is like a 60. How long did it take you? 40,
I think it took me like
60?
45, I think.
Right.
And I did a lot. I usually don't. I'm not a completionist, but I did a lot of side quests.
So man, that seems like a real commitment. That's 200 hours, into a game, into a series.
Yeah, I think I might be halfway there with Persona 5. Maybe we shouldn't open that can of worms up, but oh my goodness. Talk about hours sunk into a game.
So
Did you play the oh, good.
I was gonna say, Terry said Luigi's Mansion, Wizards Unite, Pokemon Go, and Jedi Academy.
Oh,
nice.
Very cool.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like the new Luigi's Mansion a lot. The previous games in the series, I thought they were cute. I didn't get super into them, but I really like this one. They changed up the ghost combat a little bit, made it more exciting.
So as y'all also know, I mean, some of you know, I voted off, no, I didn't vote off. People voted off Goose for my island, but he won't leave. Actually, Sandy wanted to leave earlier, but I made her stay. So that's another aspect of my game, is I'm trying to get villagers off to get new ones, but it's not working the way that I want it to.
I was there for the vote, although I don't know if my vote actually moved anything.
Goose was super unpopular, so...
Not
But
that I
they-
knew anything about who I was voting for. I was just like...
But
Oh,
you
yeah.
like they literally won't leave the island. That's possible. Like your AI is resisting you.
Yeah, I've done everything that I think I'm supposed to ignore him, I think, because all my other villagers are like, hey, I'm thinking about leaving the island. I built this giant, this is his house. I put a wood fence border, a tree fence border,
Oh
and
my
a
gosh.
stone and iron fence border.
Holy cow!
He still
Victim.
escapes and won't leave.
But can you go
Just
back
evicting
home, or...
Yeah, he magically goes in his home and out of his home, but he won't leave.
Weird. That's awesome.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I don't know.
What kind of landlord are you?
Yeah, in case my landlord, like, locks me out.
Yeah. Builds a picket fence around your door and a tree fence behind that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make this, like, too
I'm looking for
IRL,
this
but man,
house.
it's like moved.
Where on the island is it this?
The
big thing
right
right
hand
here?
side, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I had a really strange, somewhat aside here, but I had a really strange experience the other day when I went into the museum. So I was getting some fossils assessed, and I went into the museum, and I'm in IRL. I love museums, and I'm a big museum fan, and so I was just walking around because you had to go get stamps or something or some event. So you had to like kind of walk through all the exhibits, and I kind of hadn't really explored the museum much because I was just loot hoarding and I just wanted my fossils appraised and stuff. So I just walked through and just like checked out the museum, and I had this really surreal kind of like, wow, in real life I used to do this kind of thing, and also thought it's actually a really well thought out museum the way they've designed it, but it had this just like really weird disconnect with like that experience.
Yeah. Did you notice that
Yeah, it's
there's like
great.
all the animal skeletons? Yeah, and then the little spotlight shines on you. Whatever the human.
Yeah,
skull
that
is.
was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
actually
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like an
yeah.
awesome, like if I saw that in a, the science museum, here in town, I'd be like, wow, that's great. What a cool exhibit. And then to do it in the game was super weird.
Oh, I love Blather.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, he's awake. So here's a question. So my Blathers is always sleeping during the daytime. Why is your Blathers awake?
Wait, he's awake?
Yeah.
Or did you wake him up?
No, he's bright-eyed.
Oh my god.
Just gonna check
I don't
on
know
this.
if y'all are watching the stream. You're probably not because you're in the voice chat, but I have sound alerts going, and so Aura Jeffrey just played the Illuminati theme song or the X-Files theme song for your Blathers is awake theory.
He's wide awake. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's usually asleep. I don't know.
Yeah. It's my daughter. I have an almost 2-year-old, and she loves like sitting in my lap and watching me play and stuff. And she loves when he wakes up, when he goes like,
Aw.
ooh, he does this like really exaggerated thing, and it's like one of her favorite things.
He's super cute. Hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I love Blathers.
I also like Celeste, but I never see her.
Who's Celeste?
She gives you star recipes, and she comes out at night. She's also a little owl, a pink owl, right?
Mm.
Yeah, she's the sister, right? Blather's little sister.
Yeah, Kelly, you have to inform. This is my first Animal Crossing game, so I don't know anything
Oh,
about the
right.
lore or anything.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'll be the Animal Crossing deep lore.
Whoa. Historian.
Yeah, I
Maybe you
keep
should just take Blather's job.
Yeah, she's his little sister. He was like really. I remember him being really protective of her, in the other games, and her kind of silly, not being their dynamic. But yeah, she is so cute. I will bow. But she used to let you draw constellations in the constellations, but now she gives star-related recipes to make star wands and zodiac furniture. But yeah, I've played every iteration of it that has come to the U.S. So it's I'm hundreds. Like the amount of my life that has been poured into this game is like absurd at this point.
Yeah.
You're a whiz with that shovel. I like that spin.
Oh wait, well I am a wizard, so.
With
You're a whiz.
Your
Oh,
Highness-
I mean, you're
Sorry, I was like talking so much. I feel like I've taken up so much space. I don't think I've gotten to see a full island experience.
Oh,
I'm in
have you
your,
seen? Oh, where are you?
butterfly atrium. It's great. In the
Oh,
museum.
nice. Yeah.
There's so many. You got so many butterflies in here. It's awesome.
Yeah, I walked in there the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there were so many.
Harry.
Oh, thanks, Jeff, for the You're a Wizard. So up
Thank
top.
you for that. Appreciate it.
Up top is my Hogwarts house up here, but then across the way is the Forbidden Forest, which I have tarantulas pretending that they're acromantula. I have a couple
Whoa.
tarantula models. It's really hard to navigate this area, but that's because it's filled with trees.
So how does building like do you like really build the house like from the ground up? Like you like lay down the floors and stuff first, and then like how does that all work?
So you start off in a tent. Oh my gosh, I wish we could have. I don't think I have the game or the VOD where I started the game, because there's this whole thing where I had a conspiracy about Tom Nook and how he like poisoned the fruit juice that we drank and that it was all a dream, because so I don't know, it was just like a weird experience. So it's a whole thing where you kind of build it up, and so each time you so I have like the basement and the upstairs and then the rooms on the first floor, but you have to basically pay off a loan to Tom Nook every time to unlock new things. So right now I owe him 2.4 million bells, but
Jeez.
I'm not gonna pay it.
It's interest free.
It is interest free.
That's nice. No usury. But you can't progress. You know, I mean, it's just a progression system. But I was really jarred. Speaking of that Ian Bogo's piece, I was actually really jarred because I know nothing about Animal Crossing, and even the memery was not, the Tom Nook is evil and all that stuff. It didn't make much sense to me. When I played for the first time, I also played it on a stream, and it like the discourse around this game is, I mean, it's really deeply capitalistic about, like in like a nice way of being capitalistic, right? Like Tom doesn't charge you interest on his loan, and he'll set you up with rewards points and stuff. But like the way you it's really weird. I was not expecting it to be what it is. And I wondered, because I've been playing it with my little children, what they're taking from it, like how to be a good little capitalist, take out loans and pay debts and sign up for rewards points and stuff.
Do you get a bonus if you pay off your debt? I think that you can decorate decorate the outside of your house for free. Is that right, Kelly?
Yeah. I just paid. I was in the same boat. I was like, I'm not going to give you these millions of bells for no reason. But then every time I went to the ATM, you see the total of your
the
loan.
balance.
Like I just want this balance to go away. This virtual balance hanging over me. But yeah, so you can change the outside of your house once a day for free. And do all the upgrades and stuff, which I mean monetarily is obviously not worth it because it costs not very much at all to do that. But I think it's more a satisfaction thing. And now I'm like, I have no debt. I'm living my Animal Crossing life and doing what I want to do, like I was before I paid off this loan.
Yeah. It's more, again, like I see the system of it, right? It's just a leveling system. Like to get to level 3, you pay 2.4 million bells, whatever. But the way it's worded as this like mortgage and stuff, I mean, it's very interesting. And maybe it does. Maybe this is the way that you teach things like don't be in debt or pay off your debts immediately. Or what it should be teaching you is compound interest. And then when you log in, that 2.4 went to like 9.9. You're like, ooh,
Whoops.
I should pay this off.
A little too close to real life.
I was gonna say, yeah, then it's not fun.
Right.
Or maybe it is, I don't know.
Maybe it is. Well, we should teach
There's
compound
no-
interest in school.
So even if you don't pay the debts, like Tom Nook won't send like goons after you or anything.
No. At least not that I've seen. Pay off your debt, math prof. Actually, Jeff does teach compound interest, or has in the past. Not this Jeff, my Jeff.
Right.
Or Jeffrey. Let's see if this is any. I haven't been able to find any new fossils lately. I think I'm filling up. Hoo-hoo. Oh.
You were doing sort of a formal tour, and I just wandered off. So.
Oh, that's fine. I get distracted.
I was like, hey, what's this over here?
That's my theme with Animal Crossing is I say I'm gonna do something and then I get distracted and do something completely different.
Oh my gosh, that is my whole Animal Crossing life, is just running back and forth. Like, why did I come to this part of town? Oh my gosh. So bad.
Well, it sounds like everybody's in good company then.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm gonna
I guess
sell.
it's better than doing that IRL, like walking into a room and being like, what am I?
Well, I do that too, so.
Yeah, but then that's my real life.
Yeah, oh yeah.
10,000 bells.
I really like the Hogwarts area. That's nice. Little fountain and stuff. That's cool.
Thanks, yeah. I got that design from someone off Twitter, so the robes I'm wearing is from that design. And then I found this hat in a shop the other day, and I was like, I must buy it.
So the bells
So
are your...
you made the robes?
No, someone else designed it, and I just
Gotcha.
took this
Copy.
design.
Got it.
Yeah, the whole house is Hogwarts themed. So the main room is the Great Hall. It's also actually just the storage room, but I meant to do all these candles, and there's like a little train.
Oh, so these houses are like way bigger on the inside than they are on the outside.
Yeah, there's more space because then you have like these other rooms that you can go into. This is my little bathroom / oh, Anka's giving the bird bath DIY. Sweet. This is the bathroom, like supposed to be like the girls' bathroom, but it has a pool table. It's kind of weird.
Health
and humidity go really well together.
Wait, you guys are definitely closer than 6 feet apart right
Yeah.
now. Let's get a little social distance here, you two.
The theme here is that this is Moaning Turtle. Instead of Moaning Myrtle, it's Moaning Turtle. But then I kept getting them, so it's just full of turtles.
Oh, you can give them a shower.
Oh, hype, and a follow. Okay, so this room is one of the house lounges. It's Hufflepuff. Jeff is hanging out
I'm
in
just
Hufflepuff.
lounging.
Yep.
Trying to social distance.
Wait, I don't know. How far is 6 feet in the game? Is this good enough? This is probably good enough, right?
That's probably good enough. Yes. Keep the succulents between us. That's really nice. Are you ready for a little more blasphemy for your channel in particular?
Yeah.
I have never watched nor read any Harry Potter.
That's okay. You're familiar with it though, right? Like,
Again,
pop culture.
like Animal Crossing. The Sorting Hat and the room or the houses and the general. I may have seen 20 minutes of the first movie or something, and just what's in the sort of popular discussion. But I am a complete novice to anything beyond that, and so
Same here.
So now it's like it's multi-layered ignorance on my part, in that I don't know anything about Animal Crossing really, and I also don't know anything about what's inside Animal Crossing that you've made, like the houses. So it's really that floating candles. That's a scene I remember.
Yeah.
That's really cool. The way you did that, that's really cool.
Do you know? Have you ever done the sorting quiz? Do you know what Hogwarts house you belong to?
At one point I may have. I can't remember. What's the kind of like Hufflepuff
The
maybe?
blue house?
Like the marshmallow kind
Yeah.
of house.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
I
the
think
room
that was me.
you're in. You're in
Hey,
your house
well,
room. There you go.
The universe works in mysterious ways. The one room I went into and sat down in is the one that I guess I belong to. I sorted myself. Maybe you're like
That's
a
it.
sorting hat.
It's the sorting house.
Sorting house.
The sorting house. Which room will you go into?
Do you have other rooms I should?
Yeah, so across the way on the first floor
You're giving a tour, I know.
is Gryffindor. I just left Gryffindor though. It's very red. But then I went into the basement just now. This is Slytherin, which is I don't know. It's hard to find like good wallpaper and flooring. So I went with one of the people in chat right here, Oven Ready, suggested this combo of the black brick floor with the skull wallpaper, because Slytherin, Snake, Death Eaters, that sort of creepy vibe. And so there's some green accents with all this stuff, and there's also a turntable because it's the basement, it's the party room. And yeah, so this is my Slytherin setup. Basically just anything that's green goes in this room.
Right. I guess it's hard to like make something creepy in such a wholesome game. Is that a phone on the wall? Or...
Yeah, it's an old time antique phone.
I like that it kind of looks like a face. Is that just me?
It is just you. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the angle.
Yeah. And then this is the Ravenclaw room. Ravenclaw is my house, and it's really cool when you turn the lights off because you have the whole star
That's awesome.
wallpaper and the moon.
Very cool.
This would be if I could choose. I know the sorting house or hat sorts you, but if I could choose, I'm a big space buff, so I would be up here all the time with the lunar lander and the moon and stuff. This house is awesome. Literally, your design is awesome, as well as I guess the Raven house. Is awesome.
Yeah. I had some help from people. Because I think TexCav, I think TexCav actually went to work. Gave me the moon, it gave me the little telescope. It's been a slightly collaborative effort. But I've seen pictures, as you know, Twitter is ridiculous. There are people that have really, really nice Hogwarts-themed houses, and mine is very baby compared to other people's.
Can you make you talked about like getting people's designs. So you can like make your own stuff in this game?
Yeah, so I can show you real quick. So there's a custom design app so you have a phone and it has all these apps. And so this is a custom design app. This is one that I took from someone else. It's the Hogwarts crest. And so basically you can share codes by you as a designer or as individual designs. So I've seen people share things on Twitter, and then I started making one, but it didn't finish. Oh, I can't change it. As you can see, this is supposed to be the beginning of my hat, of my logo of the hat, and I just never finished it. But you can make your own designs.
Oh, got it. Okay. And like you can make like 3D stuff too?
You can display things. So from the custom design, that's how I could get let's see, can I display that? I don't know what I can do when people are over and what I can't do when people are over. Yeah. So I can't display it, but I had in the rooms, there was so the robe I'm wearing, I can display it as like a hanging, like on a mannequin, or the little Hogwarts crest on the floor, or the Hogwarts crest outside my house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I mean, there are also people who are much more artistic than I am that can do cool designs.
Yeah,
That's the
stuff
awesome
people
part.
come up with is just
Being able
amazing.
to share, right?
Oh, 6 feet, 6
Oh,
feet.
6 feet? Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, some of the stuff I've seen people do, you know, again, just on online and stuff, it's just unbelievable. And that kind of stuff is so fascinating. The creative power people have in conjunction with using these tools. Like these are limited tools, and how they use those limitations to come up with crazy, awesome stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. No, in some ways, it reminds me of like The Sims, like people making stuff in The Sims and like selling it on.
Totally.
When you mentioned like limited tool sets, Jeff, it also makes me think of the Creative Soul in Soul Calibur and like the ridiculous using things that people do by like repurposing clothing pieces in Soul Calibur.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, just think of the Slytherin room that we were just in is a great example, you know, and you had said, oh, you know, it must be really hard to come up with menacing looking or you know, dangerous looking things in such a wholesome game. And yet that room, you know, projected it enough. There was like a skull looking thing and all the green and the wallpaper and stuff. And so again, it's a very limited tool set. And yet I think it was a really effective design just by coming up with it and coming up with it collectively. You know, Lynette said, you know, I've been inspired and I've been looking at, and some people have helped me with, so the collaborative effort, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen people do kind of like they DIY this sort of like what do you call it? Like fog on the ground, because that's not an actual design. But I saw something about it on Twitter where someone used like some kind of flooring and then covered it with like a pattern of a rug, and then had like I don't know. So there's like, again, people more creative than me, but also being able to manipulate these different features to get some sort of aesthetic in there. It's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I actually only got, this is terrible, but I only got the latest Soul Calibur just so I could play with the Creative Soul. And I still don't, like, I know how to play Soul Calibur. I'm not competitive. I don't play fighting games competitively. But I honestly feel like I got my money's worth just from Creative Soul. Like, it's so much fun to just make things from like other like franchises and like other fandoms inside Soul Calibur. I don't know. I have a very weird thing for that.
What's the weirdest thing you've made, and what were you inspired by to make it?
I should fire it up and like go look. I haven't made anything like super weird though. You know, I just like I make things from like fandoms that I'm into. Like I remade like the Sparta Brothers from the Devil May Cry series, which I do for frickin' every single Soul Calibur game, and everybody does. There's no reason to do it. There's tutorials, but I'm just like, oh cool, look, Dante's in this fighting game now, and I'm excited. Or I could just have gotten like Marvel vs. Capcom and had an actual Dante, you know, built by designers. I don't know.
Cool. Maybe weird was not the right word, but
yeah, I made characters from Ruby that I was kind of excited about.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you write on my wall?
No, I just read.
Oh, okay.
Is there a way to write?
Yeah, you can leave a message.
Oh. Can I? Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So that must have been how AOC left her message.
Yes.
Sorry to keep
my
bringing that
gosh.
up. I know that might be like a little bit.
Earl won't let me forget that she didn't come to my island. But I did. Yeah. I got in the DMs.
Yeah. There's still a chance.
Wait, how do you wave? Can I wave? Do I have that? Do I have that capability?
Oh, look at an emote wheel. Whoa, that's a lot of emotes.
Oh yeah, what was something that I learned earlier today? So something I learned was that Anka hates Sprinkle on my island. She was walking around all pissed off. I don't know why, but they don't get along. I need to hold a wand. I see. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal was. They're neighbors. Their houses are next to each other, so I'm considering moving their houses further apart. I don't know if that would help, but they don't get along. I didn't know that was gonna be an issue.
That's so awesome.
We gotta manage those relationships too.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Do they like ever get mad at each other to the point where like somebody will leave?
I don't know. Do y'all know? Yeah, it has to do with personalities.
Huh. Crazy. So far, maybe I just haven't progressed quite far enough. But so far, all my villagers, islanders, have just been really positive and happy. I haven't had any drama yet on my island.
I read the key to getting them to leave is ignoring them, like instead of like hitting them or being mean to them, is just like ignoring them completely. But I don't know the between villager conflict, although I have one villager. I'm a little like, she sends me concerning letters. Like she sent me one that was like, oh, you know, life isn't going that well, but you know, fertilizer. I was like, oh my, are you okay? And she just continually does things. Like I'm convinced this villager, I'm like, do you want to leave, Roger? Are you doing all right, buddy? Like,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what happened to her. Like, what did I do to you?
That is very concerning.
Hilarious.
I wonder if it's like you know, there's some employee, some Nintendo employee somewhere, you know, who had to come up with thousands and thousands of these and was just like, this is my way of communicating. I'm not okay. It's a cry from help from the copywriting team.
Ooh, Anya's got the inside scoop on Snooty and Lazy. They don't get along.
Yeah, so is there, you know, I'm sure there's a huge, you know, community of people maintaining wikis and boards and other things like this. Is there like a matrix? Is there like a relationship matrix that someone's come up with? Like theory crafting Animal Crossing.
I saw one on Wikipedia, a long-running resource for Animal Crossing stuff. Especially before, you know, now everyone's on Reddit and Twitter, but kind of last game in 2013, 2014 or whatever. You know, I think that a lot more. But yeah, I read that like certain personality types tend to get along with other personality types, which I think I never would have noticed, honestly. It doesn't seem super noticeable to me, that like the way that breaks down, but I guess there's some algae in there determining who gets along with who.
Yeah. So Jeff, one of your students is here. Goddess Gal.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey.
Thanks for hanging out.
Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks.
Am I hiding Constance on my island? Okay, so for those of y'all who don't play Harry Potter Wizards Unite, part of the storyline is that there's this lady named Constance Pickering, who's the head of the Statute of Secrecy Task Force, which is basically our task force for the game. So we are members of the task force. And my theory is that she's very sus and might actually be behind the whole calamity that we're dealing with to begin with. So that's who Constance is. I am not hiding Constance on here. I have no idea where she is. She hasn't been in the game for the last few events, so that's also very suspicious. I'm all about the storylines.
Dang, I remember. Sorry to keep talking about other games. I'm just thinking about like my first experience of like NPCs.
Earl's like, no, I don't like Animal Crossing. I'm just gonna.
This is my jam. Let me talk about Persona 5.
No, it just it makes me think of like other things. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like the villagers and the islanders like not getting along with each other.
Yeah.
And my first experience of that in like Baldur's Gate, which I don't know if anybody's ever played. It's a pretty old CRPG that is based on Dungeons and Dragons. And I just remember having party members, and that was the first time in my life that I'd ever experienced party members not getting along with each other to the point where they got so mad and like started fighting, and I like panicked. I was like an 8th grader. I did not know what to do because we couldn't get along with each other. Aww. And I like them all personally. So I was like, wait, why can't we all just be friends?
Teaching you about the real world, man. Tacit instruction.
I really had to like think about that. I thought about like, oh wait, like these people really like their life goals are at odds with each other.
Could you resolve it as a player, or was it just sort of a scripted thing in the game?
You could not resolve it. They've if you kept them together for too long, they would literally get into a fight with each other, and you couldn't control them. Normally, your party has little green circles underneath in the UI, which means you can click them and you can like assign them action. But then their circles would turn red, so you couldn't control them anymore, and they would just fight each other. And I was so upset.
Oh my gosh!
We did all these adventures together.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
that
really
is cool.
cool.
I'm sorry it was traumatic for you as an 8th grader, but I love that that mechanic. That's cool. I really like
I'm
that.
still
That's really cool.
processing, to be honest. If I'm talking about it now, like rejecting this is like my game therapy session.
It's still in.
Yeah, so this is a
It's
safe
still there.
space for our gaming problems.
Because
That-
like the unresolvable, like, hey, there's something we're gonna put in this game that's like completely out of your control. Is That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you could just keep them apart. Like at the end of the day, you just have to like not have one or the other in the party.
In the party, yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know, and I still am this way when I play RPGs. Like I'm like such a min-maxer, and I'm like, oh, like
Totally.
stats. Like I want stats, and I want everybody to be good at combat. So I had like this stacked team, and then later I found out like people didn't like each other, and I was like, oh no. Like my whole strategy's out the window now because my wizard hates my ranger.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That again, I don't want to. I'll make it very short one because now we're totally derailing this into other games. But my love of the Banner Saga. It's a great game. I love the aesthetic, and the game is good. It's like kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a turn-based, kind of combat game with a cool narrative, and it's freaking gorgeous, beautiful game. But what they did was, they like, these kinds of games, they let you customize your party, and so I went for a one type of build I really kind of liked with a bunch of characters I really liked. I leveled them up, and then in the final battle you have to take one of the characters from your party that I had never used at all. It was mandatory to use this character, so it was like a level 1, had no equipment, had nothing on it in the final battle, and I was like so handicapped by it, and like it was just a really bad design because they just they maybe never anticipated that you wouldn't have this character because it's a core narrative character, right? It's I'm trying to not spoil it too much, but a character that's like key to the story. But I didn't like this character just because I didn't like the skill set, and so I just never took them. And then then I'm in the last battle with like the toughest boss imaginable with like my level 1, and what am I gonna do?
Oh man.
So it was a little slip in the design of a otherwise great game. I mean, maybe they did that intentionally, like unfair or something, But
Yeah.
I think it was just a bad design. They didn't intend you to not level that character. But
God.
anyway, I'll end that sidetrack.
Now it's dredging up other memories.
I know. Here's all the games that we've loved but have otherwise failed.
Wait, so therapy session?
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
this
I
is
think
what
about
games you think a bunch of professors talk, academic shop. No, we just therapize.
Therapize.
Oh my god, yeah, I played that game. Oh god, I can't believe it.
I'm still processing some of these in-game betrayals too, man. Oh my goodness. Just awful.
I don't know if this would be helpful. When a little inside inside baseball or whatever, behind the scenes talk. So when the four of us were talking about setting something like this up, we thought it'd be really cool to be able to talk about academic ideas and the kinds of work and research and things we teach you about and stuff, and still talk about about games too, but to talk about those things to people who aren't necessarily in our classes or in college or whatever. So one of the things I think that might be kind of useful is to suggest an idea or maybe like even something to read. If you're interested in the kind of work that all of us do or the kind of things that we're talking about, maybe it'd be useful to drop a couple of things. I really have been telling everyone to read a book by T.L. Taylor called Watch Me Play. It's all about streaming and all about esports and Twitch streaming and stuff like that. But if you're interested in getting into academic thinking or thinking more critically about your own gameplay and stuff, it's pretty easy to read book, but it really is a great introduction into like this world that we're all sort of playing with right now. It's a really great book. I highly recommend it. So there's that.
All right, I'm just gonna pop a link in the chat.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, I wonder if we should do like what are you playing and what are you reading right now thing.
Reading, yeah.
I'm not reading anything super academic right now. Huh. Well, I guess I'm rereading Ian Bogost's Procedural Rhetoric, which is about games.
It's tough. That's a tough read.
And how games make arguments.
It's a great read, but it's
It is good, right? I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was.
It's good.
It was pretty good.
It's a hard read though.
But Ian's always like that, right? He's always he's a good writer, but he's also, and I like, this is not a knock because I'm a better at this, but like his writing is also very dense. There's like a lot of ideas, right? So in a short amount of space. So
Right.
it's great, but it really has to be stuff that you like are ready to simmer, right? You just gotta cook it in the back burner for a little bit.
No, totally. Yeah, frankly, I read it like 3 times because I'm like, wait, okay, wait, and that's good. I mean, it's his style, and he's really good at it. But it's not one of the easier things that I've read.
Right. And I hesitate to like offer that critique because I don't think I'm any better, but but yeah, no, I'm working on it though. I'm like really working on trying to write more clearly.
I was reading The Shallows. I'm a terrible reader. I cannot focus to save my life. So I set that down for a second. It's about the internet and how it's changing our brains. So I've like occasionally mentioned some things that I'm reading on previous streams, but right now I'm actually reading a new fantasy novel by one of the Wizards Unite YouTubers.
Oh.
So I'm like taking a break from academic stuff this summer, except for obviously this.
Yeah, and this is like borderline. This is like a weird liminal space.
Yeah.
I like went back to reread Children of Blood and Bone because Children of Virtue and Vengeance just came out, and then I started reading it, and I like forgot everything that happened in the first book. So I had to go back, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but it's a fantasy, young adult fantasy novel, but it's all grounded in Nigerian folklore, and it's so
Oh, I heard
refreshing.
of that. Yeah, is it good?
Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah. Gosh, I'm gonna get it now, but yeah, it's really good. If you're into like, if you're into magic, if you're into like high fantasy settings, and if you like want sort of a break from like the sort of vanilla fantasy, medieval setting, it is really, really cool.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, highly recommend.
All right, we have a few more minutes left. Jeff, do you want to do a fishing competition? I challenge you to a fish
All right.
off.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't have a choice. Yes, no, totally. I hope my fishing rod doesn't break. I don't know the last time I used it. Yes, totally.
Okay.
Is it just one-on-one, or can you challenge everyone on the island?
Yeah, whoever's on the island. So right now it's just me and Jeff.
Oh, I thought there was somebody else here.
Oh, Scott left.
He left, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know where you are.
I'll come to the center of town.
There you go. All right, so I have some fishing bait if you want to use it.
Oh.
Sometimes it's helpful.
Oh, you know what? My inventory is like totally full. Crap. See, this is my hoarding life. That's what happened. Let me get rid of a couple things.
This is actually what slowed me down when I picked Horizon Zero Dawn back up, and I was like, oh, let me try a new game plus on like the hardest difficulty. And then what like slowed me down a lot was like remembering there was inventory management, and I was like, oh, I like forgot about this. I have lost track of how many arrows I need to make to shoot robot dinosaurs.
So here's a quick etiquette question. Is it all right if I just dump a few things on the ground?
Yeah, you can drop it, and
I'll
then
pick 'em up?
you can sell your fish afterward in the shop, and then pick those back up and take them with you.
I'm planning on catching a lot of fish, so I'm going to drop a bunch of stuff.
All right.
I'm thinking big.
Yeah,
I'm glad you asked it out loud, Jeff. I was actually curious about different aspects of Animal Crossing etiquette. Since you're letting people come to your island, so I'm curious if there are like do's and don'ts and like faux pas for visiting people's islands.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is like asking before you take anything.
Yeah.
Unless it like you already know the person. So like for example, I set up this table, so like this is free DIY recipes, like we drop one, take one, whatever. And then I usually leave stuff up front as well. Okay, I don't know exactly.
I remember the when like Elijah Wood was like
Yeah.
and everyone was like, oh, he was so polite because he was like asking, may I take some of your coconuts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I figured that I'm treating that now as the norm because like nice people are playing Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice to each other. We can continue. I really love by the way, the Doom Animal Crossing crossover stuff. I was obsessed with this. I was telling all my students about like professing my love for that more than I was actually teaching them. I would just like look at the images and be like, oh, look at what happens when communities have come together and blah. Like it was great.
Oh my gosh.
The energy we need.
I feel like I do that though. I do that too with my students. I'm like, watch this, it's amazing, and they're like, all right, calm down.
For you non-professor folks out here, but maybe those are in school or thinking about going to school or whatever. It's just an excuse to like force your students to like watch the stuff you love and play the games you love. Like if I could, I would have a class where all we did was play Mass Effect. I've actually worked out the math in terms of like the number of seat hours they're supposed to have like lines up perfectly with a full playthrough of the Mass Effect trilogy. That means there'd be no instruction, there'd be no work. They would just play Mass Effect. And if I could figure out a way to get that into a syllabus, I totally would, because everyone should play Mass Effect. So there's a little more talking shop. Your professors just want to like bore you with the shit that they find interesting. Here, you know what I read that's so good? Oh, you should read this. In fact,
Giving away
you
our
have to read
there.
I know.
It's funny you mentioned that too, Jeff, because that's like the eternal curse of the reading teacher too, right? Like I want to introduce like my high school students to like stuff that I love, but then I have to be really careful, right? I have to be really careful because if I hammer too hard, then reading's gonna stop getting fun, right? And then like, have I really done my job if students walk out of my class and reading's not fun to them, So, yeah. So too with the Mass Effect trilogy, I suppose. We gotta make sure we gotta walk the fine line between games and work. Going back to Ian again.
Right. Yeah. All right. Yes, I do have to log off in just a few minutes.
Okay.
But the fishing contest.
Yes. So this timer is gonna go for 3 minutes. Okay. And so whoever catches the most amount of fish in that 3 minutes is the winner.
All right.
So go wherever you want.
I'm looking at the beach.
God, you even get to pick your spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where's the beach? There's no fish on the beach. Oh, no.
Or you can use the bait to try to get fish.
Attract more.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fishing spot, Prof. Lynette, or you're just like, just go try different stuff out?
I do. Actually, I'm going to go to that fishing spot because that's a tiny fish anyway. I didn't want to just in case Jeff wanted to go to that spot, but there's a dock over here that I like to fish off of.
Sweet.
But now I'm wasting like a whole minute of my time. So, it's fine.
Haha, that was my plan all along.
Not that you know where her like dock is. We did not do the full island tour, so
we didn't do. I got distracted, so I didn't give you the whole tour.
Yeah, this is still insider knowledge right here, where the dock is.
Oh man.
Oh, you can see the fish though. That's helpful.
Yeah.
I've had like.
Oh no!
Two just run away. Where are they?
Oh gosh. What if we end up with 0? That would be
I know,
embarrassing.
that'd be so embarrassing. I can't find a single fish.
Best of 2.
Wait. No. Seriously, there's the 2 that I found. They both nibbled and then just run away.
Oh. I got Nemo.
Oh, I love Nemo. So cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I have this like lag, or sometimes the fish run when I'm like on other people's islands. I don't know if that happens to other people too.
I'm on the board. I did find Guppy.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you're gonna have to narrate that out loud because I can't see your screen.
I know. I'm off in Nowheresville. Let's see. All right. How do I use the?
Oh gosh. These tiny fish aren't doing it for me. Okay, 55 seconds.
Do it.
All right. I'm scattering some of the. Oh.
I'm only getting tiny fish.
I know. There's this little thing.
Does anybody watch Zero Punctuation on The Escapist?
I do not regularly, but I certainly Yahtzee
You're
stuff.
familiar with Yahtzee, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to ask because he had a critique of something in the game, which was for him there wasn't enough. Even though you could visit each other's islands, there wasn't enough stuff for people to do together. What are y'all's thoughts on?
Ah, he ran away again. Hold on. 7 seconds.
I know.
left.
We were trying to catch a fish, Earl.
Oh,
No, just kidding.
Hold on. Let
Okay.
me critique what I'm doing mid-critique. Mid-action.
Oh, we got 4.
This
I
one
got
doesn't count.
4.
This doesn't count. I got 1. Oh, bummer. Every one of them ran away. That's weird.
You fed him?
Yeah. Oh well. I got a guppy, which I actually think I had not fished up on my own island. So, if you don't mind, I'll take the guppy with me.
Are you
Thank
taking
you.
a cut of Jeff's sales? Since your island? Like how
I mean,
deep
it
are
is
we?
a hardcore capitalism.
How deep are we
Yeah.
getting?
I can't charge, but that would be something, wouldn't it?
Well, I guess that's 50 bells. I don't know.
It's like some World of Warcraft stuff here.
Roll need or greed, you know.
Oh, God, see, there's Goose just hanging out, living his best life, even though no one's talking to him.
This guy, the chicken,
Yeah.
I pushed him. Hey, you. The airport's this way.
Yeah. Get off the island.
If not, I'll show you to the dock. Cool. Well, hey, I actually have to log off.
Yeah.
But thank you for the chance to stream together and stuff. This was great. I'm looking forward to doing more of this. I hope everyone in chat and stuff had a good time.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. So why don't we do just like closing words as we get off. So who wants to start?
Jeff, you initiated.
Everyone
I was
jump
just
at
thinking,
once.
well, I probably should, since I've already said my closing words. I'll say it again. No, this is great, and again, we're excited to kind of continue this PROFS play thinking about ways that we can sort of collaborate, especially with what's happening in the world now. Who knows what our academic semesters and things are going to be like? So this is a great way to connect and to share these experiences with each other, and also with the people who tune in. So I'm hoping you'll tune in again and keep sharing your ideas and stuff, and keep sharing these times with us.
Cool. Yeah, and since you mentioned sort of the world, I'm gonna get back into therapy mode here and say, like, I woke up and I was like, honestly, like, very exhausted by everything happening right now, which we can always talk about off chat. But I felt a little, honestly, like a little weird about putting pause on reality and jumping into Animal Crossing for a little bit. But I'm really glad I did it, and I'm really happy that y'all took the time and hung out. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna echo Earl's words there. Definitely, this was spirit lifting, and I hope everyone felt the same way in the chat.
And for me, y'all know how silly I am, and so when I was like, oh my god, other professors want to play games and hang out, then I was, this is just another thing that I'm really excited to do. So once again, if you are interested in hanging out with the 4 of us, again, I'm going to put a shout out for PROFS Play. That is our collaborative channel that will also be streaming some games, a variety of different games. It's kind of like the leader's choice of what that will be. So be sure to give that a follow. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for the bits, thanks for the follows and the subs, and for all of the fun. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. And until next time, Juan's ready.